The biggest matchup of the weekend happens at 11 a.m. Central Time, local time for us. 11 a.m. Again, this is the AP rankings because we record these videos before the playoff rankings come out. I have to keep saying that. In the AP poll, number 2, but in the playoff ranking, number 3 Michigan travels to number 10 Penn State. Now, at the time of creating the graphic, Michigan was a 3.5-point favorite. It has since changed. Michigan is a 4.5-point favorite, with the over-under being 44.5. Penn State has a 50.7% chance to win, according to ESPN. Quinn, I want to hear you first. I want to save Chase for last.
That's fair. When we look at these two teams, this is going to be your grandpa's football game. Take the under, man. Take the under. These two teams they are going to play defense. Like, you could say what you want about Penn State's offensive performance against Ohio State. The one thing you cannot disparage about this Penn State team or Michigan or Ohio State, all three of them, they're very good defensive teams. And I think all three matchups, spoiler for Ohio State versus Michigan in 2 weeks, all three are going to be low scoring. Like, the team that breaks 21st will probably win the game. What I am most excited to watch about this matchup is Michigan's rushing attack versus Penn State's rushing attack. That is their two strengths going right at each other. I think the home crowd is going to give Penn State a bit of an edge. I am a firm believer in the spot a team 3 points just from the home field alone. Only because I feel like there has not been enough chaos in college football, and maybe because I refuse to let a dead horse die, I'm going to pick Penn State to pull the upset against Michigan at home and set up the possibility for Michigan to win the game for the third year straight and just put the Big Ten in all sorts of chaos. So give me Penn State to pull the upset over Michigan while Michigan's going through all this other stuff that's going on off the field. Keeps them a little distracted. I like the Nittany Lions.
I'll go ahead and go here. I'm going to have to agree with Quinn here. Obviously, you guys on the show know, you viewers may not know, I actually had Penn State making the playoffs this year. Unfortunately, I had them going undefeated this year. That is no longer possible. However, this is one of the games that could at least help me save a little bit of pride, that if they beat Michigan, then James Franklin would have gotten over at least the hump this year against one of his two rivals. If you look at Penn State, they're coming off their best, I would say, offensive performance of the year. They scored 51 against Maryland at Maryland. Now, I know they put up 63 against UMass, but that's UMass and this is Maryland. I think Maryland's a much better team than UMass. I think we can all agree with that. So hanging 51 on Maryland's very impressive. And then you look at the other side of the equation. Michigan beat Purdue 41-13, but 13's the most points they've given up all year long, and Purdue's horrible. Where I have a problem is that no matter the outcome of this game, Michigan's a cheater, plain and simple. But I still think Penn State wins the game at home. Obviously, I would take the under 44.5 as well. I would hammer it home, just like we told you guys to hammer the USC and Washington over last week. I would hammer home this under as well. Chase?
And Freddie, you said it's 44.5.
Yes.
That's the over under. And so, guys, if you like following me, and you like, listening to me on these bets or who to pick or whatever, I'm going to tell you to hit that over. Because that over, the end score is going to be 45-0 Michigan. Let's just put it plain and simple. Michigan themselves are going to hit the over for you guys. So go ahead and smash that over button. It's going to happen. Me personally, I'm going to toss the scandal thing aside. That in itself is a problem. And I think it's going to rattle them. I really do. I think you're going to see that in the first half of this game. But I think they regroup by second half. I think Michigan easily handles this game a lot like Ohio State did. Ohio State, it was 20-12, yes, but it was 20-6. They kind of had a handle on that game by the end of it. Then Penn State scored a late touchdown like they typically do in garbage time to make their stats look better. Penn State, James Franklin, they're not it. Never it. We just got off an overreaction with Quinn talking about Billy Napier and Freddie talking about Billy Napier needs to be gone. That's who we need to be talking about, who needs to be gone. He just ripped that Penn State logo.
Wait.
Penn State logo off of his chest because he doesn't need to be the coach. If you can't get over the two biggest games in your career for the past, 7-8 years he's been there, why is he there? You can't win the big game. Go home. Time to sit on the couch. Play some Madden or something. I don't know.
He'll have as many wins this year as Billy Napier hasn't had two.
I'm just saying. I mean, he's had ample time to prove himself, and he hasn't done it. And I think this is going to be a little bit of a rattle game for Michigan, but I think Michigan's going to get back. They have Blake Corum. They have J.J. McCarthy. Both guys are Heisman contenders, not top 5 guys, but they're Heisman contenders. They're in there. And they've been consistent all year long, beating people that, of course, they should be beating. Let me throw that up. They should be beating these teams, but it's consistent play, consistent 45, 50, 30 point. Like they're being consistent in how they score and how they're doing things. Michigan's not going to get beat. They're not going to get. Isn't it the whiteout game too? Am I not mistaken? In Happy Valley,
they do whiteout at night.
Oh, okay. I thought that was going to be a big thing too. But 11 o'clock game, Michigan is rolling into Happy Valley and just going to turn James Franklin over. They don't need signs. They don't need to steal signs, whatever. They're just going to turn James Franklin over and spank his little behind and send him back into the locker room and say, bam, there you go. Here's a 50 piece. Michigan, I'm going to go 48-21.
That's so disrespectful.
Absolute just shredding of Penn State. And I am going to be disrespectful. I am. And, if you take any of my takes, if you're like, hey, Chase, I'm going to hammer the overs. Hey, Chase, I'm going to pick Michigan. Come back and let me know so we can congratulate each other after this win this weekend.
I will
Thanks,
say,
guys.
People thought you were crazy about your Alabama LSU take, and you were the closest one than all of us to predicting the final spread. So might be onto something, but not this game, though. Not this game.
Hey, I don't think anyone's hanging 48 points on Penn State's defense, but
no.
Like,
you're insane.